Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is your channel that provides the latest information in politics and entertainment, both in Kenya and around the globe. So today we're talking about Jimmy Wanjigi and Ruto, who met at a church in Kiambu, whereby there was a function in an Anglican cathedral in Kiambu town. So William Ruto was invited by the Anglican Church leadership so that he can oversee a fundraising event whereby money was needed for construction of the cathedral in Kiambu County. So William Ruto attended the event whereby the popular businessman Jimmy Wanjigi was also present. Jimmy Wanjigi spoke first, and Jimmy Wanjigi revealed to the president that most of the residents in Kiambu have been suffering due to the high cost of living. Now, since William Samoei Ruto came into power, many Kenyans have complained the cost of living has gone up, and many people have become unable to even buy food. This has caused many people to sleep on empty stomachs. So Jimmy Wanjigi is a resident of Kiambu County, and he even made an allegation that most Kiambu residents are now being forced to sleep with pangas just next to them because of the fear that hungry people may come and steal from you the little food that you have in your home. Jimmy Wanjigi also accused the government of increasing taxation in the country. Now we should remember that the Kenya Kwanza regime just passed the Finance Act, and in the Finance Act, the government has increased taxation on almost all items, starting with food items. The government also increased taxation on imports from other countries. The government is also seeking to increase tax on fuel. And as we know, fuel is the most important item really. If the cost of fuel goes up, then we are rest assured that the cost of almost every other thing, food, electricity, transport, will all go up. So the cost of living will eventually go up. So Jimmy Wanjigi has urged President William Ruto to look to it and ensure that the cost of food goes up, rather the cost of food goes down, so that most people are able to afford food. At the moment, many families have been forced to eat only one meal a day because the cost of food and cost of living generally has gone up, and most people are unable to afford this and even feed their families. Now, Jimmy Wanjigi has worked with President William Samoei Ruto before. During the 2013 general election, Jimmy Wanjigi was instrumental in the formation of the Jubilee coalition. Now, it should be remembered that the Jubilee coalition was composed of two major political parties, that is TNA, which was headed by former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and also the United Republican Party, that is URP, which was headed by the current President William Samoei Ruto. So the two leaders at the time were facing cases at the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity, which were committed during the 2007-2008 post-election violence. So Jimmy Wanjigi, being a shrewd businessman and politician in the country, brought together those two leaders, convinced them to work together and form the Jubilee coalition. Now, in the past, Jimmy Wanjigi has even revealed that the Jubilee coalition was formed in his house, whereby all the Jubilee leaders met and decided that former President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto would work together and form the Jubilee coalition. But it should also be remembered that immediately after the 2013 general election, there was a bitter fallout between Jimmy Wanjigi and President Uhuru Kenyatta, together with his deputy William Samoei Ruto. Jimmy Wanjigi is known to be a tenderpreneur. That is, he is able to get big money tenders. For example, he has been credited with the construction of the Thika Superhighway. That was during the reign of the third president, that is Mwai Kibaki. And he even had plans to get the tender for the construction of the standard gauge railway, that is the SGR, but this did not work out. So he fell out with the two leaders and decided to work with Raila Amolo Odinga. So during the 2017 general election, Jimmy Wanjigi was a key financier of the NASA coalition. He was very close to Raila Odinga and he provided resources for their campaign. During that time, the house of Jimmy Wanjigi was raided severally, his property destroyed, as the DCI officers tried to carry out investigations for alleged fraud and also having illegal firearms at his house. Okay, so William Samoei Ruto, after hearing the remarks made by Jimmy Wanjigi during the church function, also spoke about the issue. William Ruto claims that during the time they took over in 2022, that is September, the cost of living had really gone up under the former regime, and that the Kenya Kwanza administration over the last few months has been able to put up measures that will ensure that this economy improves, that the cost of living goes down, cost of food goes down, and that most people are able to afford basic foodstuffs. Now, President William Samoei Ruto reveals that the former regime went into a borrowing spree where they got loans from all over, from the World Bank, from IMF, also the Eurobond, and this increased the debt burden for the country. Now, the current administration is seeking to cut down on borrowing. Instead, President William Ruto reveals that he plans to increase revenue collection in the country and expand the tax base. So this can only be done through measures that will increase taxation, but the same taxes will also be used for development projects all around the country. So President William Ruto reveals that the prices of food have started going down and that currently the plan of the government is to ensure that in a few months' time, with the increased food production in the country, the prices will go down and most Kenyans will be able to afford basic foodstuffs. So the two leaders spoke, William Ruto concluded, and afterwards he had a brief chat session with the businessman. That was after the fundraising event at Kiambu town. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.